Hey, what's up, everybody? Long time no see. I hope everybody had a happy Memorial Day. That's kind of awkward when I say that, but yeah,
Well, you're saying it with like a question mark.
it's Memorial Day.
Is it?
What's happy about that?
That's true.
Let's finish the intro.
Yes. A joyous,
this-
festive.
Yeah, so John finished.
Yeah.
You finished?
Yeah, I'm finished.
Okay, this is the Keith Show. A long time no see with Big John C, engineer extraordinaire. We rocking this as always, and we're gonna some things I don't know why it's popped in my head. Just the other day, when I hear people talk about, African Americans and Jews, those Jews.
Uh-oh.
Here they go. Y'all gonna love this show. And why do I say that? Because it's come to my attention that Jews have been getting a bad rap.
No.
Yes.
All these years.
All these years, they have been getting a bad rap, and the reason why they're getting this bad rap is because of
Israel?
Israel's like the last few decades. Let's see, they're like the last few decades since they was gifted the Palestinian territories over there in the Middle East, right? But a lot of this stuff is BS. No, I know it sounds crazy, right? It's BS. Who really started this stuff? This anti-Jew thing? I want you to think about that.
Wasn't Hitler?
That's European. That's European.
Okay.
That's the European. That's European. I'm talking about American Jews, in specifically American Jews, right? And the relationship between African American, foundational Black Americans, and Jews. And the reason why I say this is because a lot of people, like I said, they get this crazy bad rep. And I can remember in my early days, right? Especially when I started, working and making money. My mentors, I had two Jewish mentors. One was, in the educational system, right? And the other one was, in the private sector. I was literally driving a truck. I was driving a truck, and I was doing, what do you call that? Pickup. I was picking up stuff, grease and so on and so forth. Grease and fat, right? And I can remember a conversation we had with both of them at one time, right? And I'm thinking, hold up, what the hell is going on with this, right? In the Board of Education, I had a conversation with like I said, a mentor. He was a dean, right? And and when I think of him, he reminds me of
What's the matter?
I'm confused.
You're driving a truck.
I'm talking about the Board of Education. I wasn't driving the truck in the Board of Education.
Oh, okay.
We got to get that, that flashback.
I'm a little slow.
We got to get that flashback. The flashback, when you have the flashback.
Oh, flashback music.
Like, what was that?
I work on that.
What was those two guys? Keanu Reeves on Saturday Night Live.
Oh,
Wayne's World.
Wayne's World.
Yeah, one of those. But yeah, I deviate. Let's get back to this subject. And we're talking about Malcolm X. Out of the blue, he brought up Malcolm X, and this guy reminds me of Alan Alt from the MASH television series, right? Yeah, he did. I tell him all the time, man. You remind me of Alan Alda. He said, "Yeah, I get that. Yeah, witty guy, and he was Jewish. That's just it. He was Jewish, right? So got into the conversation. We have conversations, but one day out of the blue he just brought up Malcolm X. I said, huh? He goes, Malcolm X. Why was Malcolm X so, why did he hate Jews so much? And I'm like, well, I'm not gonna try and defend his position. I'm just gonna give you some insight into what he was doing, because Malcolm X was, of course, with the Nation of Islam, right? And the Nation of Islam, remember, was a hybrid of Arab Muslims, right? I think who was the founder? Farouk or something, right? So they had an issue with Jews. They did, right? They had an issue with the Jewish people. And until Hitler started throwing them in the gas chambers, everything was copacetic, especially here in America. And the reason why I say that is that when it came to slavery here in America, the abolition movement, in 1808, the stopping of the international slave trade, America pulling out of that, prohibiting international slavery, importation of slave and slave people here in America. When that happened, it started in the North. And who was the dominant political presence, voice? Was Jewish. Were the Jews, right? When it came to commerce, the Jews. When it came to the Civil War, it was Jews, right? Liberal Jews. That tell you all the time, liberal Jews, right? So they were the predominant voice in the Democratic Party. And what came about? Because a lot of people like to say, oh, the Republicans freed the slaves. No, they didn't. No, they didn't. And even if we talk about Republicans, we're not talking about the same, we're not talking about the forefathers of these descendants who are Republicans now. They were like the liberals. Yeah, they were like liberals and the progressives. That's what the Republican Party was about, right? That was their fundamental philosophy. Of course, and people would argue that, and I said, no. They were the ones that was pushing the abolition movement, right? The abolishment of slavery in the South. That sound like conservatism? No, the conservatives were the ones who want to keep people in chains, right? As slaves, enslavement. The Jews pissed them off, or the liberals pissed them off in 1808 when they pushed the law to stop the international slave trade, right? Think about that. Who was pushing that? Those liberals. And who were those liberals? Those Jewish liberals. So now my question is my issue, or the issue at hand, or the problem at hand is that, again, I've said this many times, that highfalutin word I like to use, that now you hear everybody using, conflagellate, right? When they take two things and they blend them together as if though they are the same and from the same origins because they're similar, right? So they like to blend them together. And so when people say what they say, I'm like, okay, other than that little skirmish in the 80s or the 90s, the 70s, the late 70s, early 80s with that took place in Crown Heights. Give me one incident where you saw a bunch of Jews, right, in a mob, hunting down, kicking in doors of black folk, dragging them out, beating them, tar and feather, or lynching them. Of the thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of cases the ancestors of the foundational Black Americans, or AA, African Americans, foundational African Americans. Give me one example. Can't give me one example. Give me one example of one township during the Reconstruction period where anywhere in America, North or South, where Jews went and burnt down a town. One. That's all I ask you for. One. I'm not saying white people or multiracial European. Let's stop the white people thing. Let's talk like it is, right? European descendants, right? Because now here we say white people, right? In Europe, they don't look at each other like we are brothers and all. No, they don't. The French, the German, the Portuguese, the Spaniards, the Italians, they are all in their own realm. They're all in their own realm. Only in America.
What do you mean, in their own realm?
They have their own countries, their own laws, and they don't, their culture is not the same, right? They are not. Even the Scottish, the Irish, and the English, they don't get along. Only in America are they all white, right? In Europe, yeah, they're all ethnic.
Italians haven't always been considered white.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Especially when the Moors went through there.
Yeah. Well, no, I mean, you mean the Moops?
What a racist term. That's a
Seinfeld. That's a Seinfeld thing. No, when Italians came to America.
Oh, yep.
They weren't considered white at first.
They weren't considered white.
Yeah. And I think it was after the First World War.
After they start the mob, after the mob started
the mob came later.
Like, okay, sir, you're white too. You're just like us. But yeah, the same thing with the Irish. The Irish was treated poorly. They wasn't treated as American white.
And then the Irish treated the Italians badly.
The Irish was the strong arms for the Jews. So that wasn't on us. That wasn't on us, right? That was interracial disagreement, right? But I asked that question. Give me one example. The only thing I hear is that Jews and blacks are still suffering in the same way in America. It's just that the Jewish community is more cohesive than the black community, right? Conservatives have an easier way of dealing with black folk. That's why the conservatives keep saying Jews. All those people over there, those Jew-hating people, well, guess what? They're burning down synagogues, black churches as well. This is what they're doing, right? These are facts. This is not like something that I'm making up. No, these are facts, right? And I have never seen a black church or heard of a black church being burnt down, shot up, people being killed by Jews. But what I have heard or seen in history, remember the little incident that happened in Mississippi when they killed those two African American young men, and that Jew, Jew was white as white, right? If he was walking in the crowd of white people, you couldn't tell he was Jewish.
I was going to say that they're not really identifiable unless they're in a synagogue.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Or they're walking around with the hair thing,
right.
But because of their non-denominational, I guess that they call them non-denominational, you can't tell. So why are they not considered white? Because of what they did historically, what they have been doing historically, and living up, historically. you could say whatever you want, but every great thing that has happened in America relating to black folk, Jews was right there along with us. The Jewish community was right there along with us. Yeah, no, we didn't go hang out in, in Bushwick, Brooklyn, in Jewish, the Jewish area of Brooklyn. We walked through there. I walked through there a few times. I got no problem. I didn't hang out there because it was a problem. We had any problem. But other than that, tell me what the problem is. Give me that one example. One example. Come on, one example. 200 years, 300 years. How long have Jewish people been in America?
I mean, the influx was during World War II. That's when a lot of them came here, but a lot of them were already here.
No, Jewish people were already here because.
Well, yeah, but that's when a lot more came.
Right, but they were jumping out the window. They were the ones who were jumping out the windows with the Great Depression happening. Right. You remember that a lot of people don't know that they sealed windows, made windows so that they could go to a certain height. Yeah, it might be because now you get these like 2,000 tall buildings and stuff like that. But they did that because people during the Great Depression was literally jumping out the windows. They said, oh, we can't have that. That's like New York City and Board of Education. They made the windows so you could only let them go up so far. And that was an incident that occurred, because of an incident that occurred on my site, in which a student was talking about jumping out the third floor window. Yeah, true story. True story. I get a call. I'm sitting in my thing. I don't mean to deviate from the Jewish thing, right? I'm sitting in my office, doing my paperwork, and I get a kid coming in there hysterical, and they're looking. I go, oh, they goes, Mr. Keith. I go, what? And I'm sitting there like, what? Because these kids are all hyper, right? They're hyper. It's special education, right? So some are really hyper. And he goes, yeah, and blah, 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 blah is talking about jumping out the window. Okay. She's sitting on the ledge.
Oh.
I'm sorry, what'd you say? She's sitting on the ledge. Bing! So I'm up, I'm out, I'm in the classroom, right? And I go up there. I go in the classroom, and our student is sitting on the ledge, right? She's sitting on the ledge talking about jumping out of a third-story window. I'm like, holy sh! Okay. All right. So, couldn't let her just jump out the window, right? No. So, I went into the other window next to her, and I'm looking out the window. I'm looking at her, like, everything's okay? Okay. All right. And I'm gonna tell you why all this stuff occurred, right? I go, oh, okay. I'm looking out the window, and she's looking really angry. I go, I've seen people fall out and jump out of, very high buildings, right? And they lived. And then I'm looking out there, and I don't know. This is one of the old schools. When I say old schools, these buildings was built in like the 1900s, right? At the beginning of the World War and around that area, right? And these buildings were built to be fortresses. No, literally like fortresses, right? They'll take a hit and they're boom, they good, right? And around the edge, right, the perimeter, they put these spear-like gates that go all around, right? And I'm saying, you know what? First, I let her know about, sometimes it happens, right? A lot of people, they don't die from this stuff. And look at that gate, man. Look at those spikes in there. She's looking. I'm saying, wow, I've seen people fall on things like that, and
Yeah, that might hurt.
it hurt, but it didn't do the job, and they took a lot, And I'm looking at her, I'm like, yeah, I'm looking down there, and it's now I see her reacting like, oh shit. I see her reacting. I'm like, okay. So then I talk her off the ledge. I literally talked her off the ledge. Just come on. And next thing I know, all New York City, they put a block so the window only came up about 2 feet. Not 2 feet, but maybe about 9 inches.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, about 9 inches. That's as far as you go right now. Go look in New York City, all the high schools. That's as far as they go, right? So yeah, I say that to say back to topic. That was crazy.
So you were a hero, sort of.
I wouldn't call myself a hero.
I'm not a hero.
A concerned employee.
Concerned employee.
So anyway, like I was saying, it's the same thing with the Jewish community. We're not that, we're not close, but Jews have always been there. Every main thing that has happened in this nation that has benefited Black folk, African American, Jewish people have been there. The Jewish community has been riding with us. The NAACP, the founders, right? They didn't create the NAACP, but when me, the boys, and Susan B. What's the Ida? Susan B. Anthony.
Susan B. Anthony.
Yeah. No. Get her name. John. You're trying to embarrass me.
I'm trying to embarrass you. Yeah.
Ida Wells, right? They're founders, but if you look on there, the founding fathers of the NAACP, they're Jews.
Really?
Right? Yeah, they're Jews. The civil rights, of course, remember the 3 civil rights workers that were killed in what was it, Mississippi or Alabama, right? That was a Jewish kid, right? They were right along with us, pushing to get the Civil Rights Act passed. And now, I don't know why people still call it the Civil Rights Act when it's actually the Civil Rights Law. And whenever you hear DEI, whenever anybody invoke DEI and fire somebody, remove them from their office, a person of color, that is a federal violation. That's a federal violation because the Civil Rights Law protects African American or people of color against that type of discrimination, because DEI is discrimination. That's it. DEI, discrimination ends. That's it. That's what DEI is all about. And Jews were with us all along. You could give all these negative connotations, and I got it. I see it, and there's some. But you can't use that brush and paintbrush the whole thing. Because like I said, you can't show me any incident with the 4,000 plus lynchings in this nation where Jewish people, it was a Jewish mob doing it. You can't show me any incident where any of those black townships, and I keep telling you, those black townships were in the early 1900s, right after Reconstruction, all in those black townships that was burnt down, right between Reconstruction, 1866 through 1924. You can't show me any of them where it was a mob of Jews doing it. You can't show me any of it. You can't show me anything where Jewish people were literally, Jewish Americans were fighting to prohibit black folk, African American, foundational black Americans, however you want to say it, from progressing. As a matter of fact, you always saw the exact opposite. They were there along with, we have our issues. This, and the reason why people say this, I want to wrap this up. The reason why people got this image is because of, once again, the conservatives. The deep state is the conservatives that rose in the deep state, in the deep states of America. The conservatives. The Jews, they feel betrayed them. As white people, that's why they refer to Jewish. Everybody else is white when they come to America, but not Jewish. You think about that. You think about that. And so, that being said, how long we got to go?
Nah, 2 or 3 minutes.
Wow.
Yeah. Is that too much time?
No, we could just sit here and look.
We could play some music.
We could play some, or I can continue to talk.
You can continue to talk.
And I want to be clear about this, right? I'm not conflagrating or putting the two. Yeah, that's good.
Conflagrating.
Yeah, that's good.
It's a good word.
Yeah, I know. Oh, you looked it up? We've been using it for months.
Conflagellate.
We've been using it for months. Yeah, I'm not trying to combine it. I'm not saying the two of them. I'm not comparing the Israelites over in Israel to American Jews. And I'm not faulting them for not separating themselves from the Israelites over in Israel. Over there in what's that? Central America? Not Central America.
Huh?
What do they call that? That area?
Israel?
No, that area that Israel is.
Middle East?
The Middle East. Yeah, I'm not conflagrating. I'm not putting the two of them together. I'm just saying here, you got the Israelites over here, and then you got the American Jews over here. Do they support them? Pretty much. I'm pretty sure they do, because they come from a tragedy, right? Think about it. Jewish people have been the only people who were literally subjected to the same similar things, same thing that we were subjected to when Hitler went roughshod through Europe. Right? Israel, as we know it today, has only been there since what? 1950s or something? Think about that. So I want y'all to really think about that. Okay? I had the camera on the two of us and you.
Oh.
Just bobbing. But that's okay, because I want y'all to really think about this, all right? This is something that I know some people get pissed off, but I'm going to end by saying this. Those Jews, give me something bad that they really did to black folk in America. One thing. That's one thing. We good? Can we log out?
Yeah, why don't you say goodbye?
Hey, this is Abby Keith. This is B Keith Show, B-Roll with Big John C as engineer extraordinaire. Hold up. Okay, good one. Okay, I think, yeah, we got that one. Okay. Hey, and it's been another wonderful show. Hope you were entertained, and I'm good. Now I'm going to get something to eat. I'm hungry. I ate breakfast. Did you eat breakfast? I ate breakfast.
Not really.
Yeah. All right. Should I stop this recording?
Yeah, why don't you?